What's happening, my beautiful people? You're here with Dirty Santa, and today I'm bringing out the goods. If you've never heard this line, I'm gonna eat your cookies, I'm gonna drink your milk, and I'm gonna spend quality time with your wife. Nah, but seriously, today we have the ultimate finishing tutorial. I'm talking about every way to score from within the box, right on the edge of the box. If you want long shots, I've got a separate tutorial, but we're gonna jump right into this. If you enjoy the content, and I think you will, please, because it did take quite a while to put together all this goodness, drop a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what you think about the finishing. If you have any questions, also what tutorials you want to see. Hope you guys are having an excellent holiday season. You're doing well on exams, or you already smashed and dashed on those exams. I know in the UK you guys come home, hang out with your family, and then go back and take a final. That just seems so backwards. But without further ado, roll clips! If you need cheap code or cheap games, head on over to g2a.com. The links are in the description. Use Dirty at checkout. Get that extra cash back option. And it begins, my friends. And we're going to start with the automatic. And the first part of this video that I just need you to understand, I want to make a disclaimer. Stop worrying about the driven finish. I know I've made tutorials, other content creators have done the same, but if you're having issues finishing, if you are picking the wrong option, if you're over aiming, if you're overcompensating, forget about the driven finish. I could win 35 games in FUT Champs without ever using the driven finish. As you see in the first freeze frame here, keepers tend to cover the near post. That means shoot across the body. You don't need a ton of power, anywhere between, it seems, around 35 to sometimes as far as 55, 60 is fair game. And when you're aiming across the body, it's not crazy. You don't need to put these directly in the corner. In fact, a lot of the time they go in if it's right beside the goalkeeper. It just seems as if he doesn't get down in time. And this year, overpoweredness, I might have made up a word, in terms of across the body, they go hand in hand. They correlate. Across the body equals broken. And as I just stated, it doesn't need to be directly in the corner. So the key is setting up an angle with your player. If you're facing straight, that's where it starts to get a little more complicated in terms of trying to use the left analog to put together the aiming system, but it's still not a big deal. The people that are making a lot of errors with finishing in these circumstances, you're choosing the wrong amount of power, or you're choosing the wrong finish. Whether it needs to be just a regular, normal power shot, which is what you're seeing here. We're just pushing B, or we're just pushing circle, just depending on your platform. Whatever your shooting command may be. And people like to complicate what we're doing here. And you can score across the body from every single angle, especially if you have the right personnel. And that's where I wanted to talk about knowing your squad. The margin of error in terms of you being able to finish and the efficiency within your finishes, it all starts with the player that's taking that shot. So if I'm on the left side, I want to use Griezmann or some left footer, Gareth Bale. That would be sweet because they can shoot across the body and it's natural. Robin, ooh, it will work. If you're on the right side, make sure you got a right footer. And the better they are at shooting, of course, your finishing numbers, they're going through the roof. People are climbing down chimneys. But you're going to score a lot of goals, and it's definitely efficient. And you saw Coleman here across the body. If you have a 4-star weak foot, sometimes even a 3-star can be a little bit debatable. You can get away with shooting across the body on someone's offside. And still have that incredible level of consistency. The key is just not putting them in a position that's asking too much. And then don't get mad at your players if they're unable to convert, because you put them in a bad scenario. And this video is more about understanding the situations, the angles, really and truly discussing what you need to look for and which option to choose from within these angles or within these locations. Remember, location is everything. It's the key to success in FIFA. In fact, when I talk to people about defending, it's often more about defending spaces than actually defending your opponent's individual man. If you've played basketball, if you have trouble guarding somebody, they say watch his waist. His waist isn't going anywhere, even if he might give you a couple little breakdowns. And the same goes for FIFA. Maybe you're not sticking with your opponent on a 1v1 basis. However, you're able to, oh, he's got to go here or he's got to go there. This is the most dangerous place on the pitch. And in the second grouping of examples here, we're now looking at the finesse shot, and it's all about opening up your body. You don't need a lot of power. Another very similar type of finish in terms of powering up the bar. If you don't ever use the finesse shot, RB if you're on the Xbox, R1 as I use my left hand if you're on the PlayStation. You hold it. It's just a very simple modifier. Not a problem. And the key is just getting the correct angle. Power 35% to 55% in this freeze frame. It's the same as shooting across the body. In this case, it's just opening up your body. You can see I'm at an angle. You are not going to want to shoot finesse shots across the body. And by across the body, I mean where you haven't given yourself any sort of a window or a new angle, you haven't cut inside. That's not going to work well for you. And when you're setting up the finesse shot, it still works with right-footed players on the right side because a lot of them use the outside of their foot. They have the trivela trait. People tend to do it without you having to ask too much. For example, if you were going to use a Robin again, you saw Martial do it earlier. Naturally, those players don't necessarily try to use that weak foot. They do their best to be very one-footed at times, especially Robin, even Messi, or Gareth Bale. If you have them on the opposite side, they are trying to stay away from using their weak foot. They know what's best. They know if they've been naughty or nice, and they know what to avoid. But it's just a beautiful thing. In the finesse shot, you don't have to overcompensate. Once you open up your body, that's done the aiming for you. You just have to tap it home. Your job, don't get nervous. Stay composed. Finish your breakfast. Finish your lunch. Finish your dinner. Go out for a brunch or a brinner. I just made up a brinner. I've never had one of those. So that would be a brunch dinner. I don't think that makes sense, actually. As we go into our next grouping, where I've put together the Finesse 2.0, you don't see this nearly as often, but it still has value. And there's certain scenarios, and I want to talk about those. We're still using the finesse shot. We're still not using a ton of power. And now, instead of going across the body or opening up your body, you're going to take it on the near post. And we don't see this used and abused quite as often because the near post just isn't as strong. Even though after this last patch, I feel like it's increased a little bit. But first time choice, if I'm going to hit this first time, the spacing is wrong for me to go across the body. Or it's harder, it's more difficult. And that's how I'm judging FIFA. And FIFA is so much about timing and spacing, whether you're doing skill moves, executing passes, looking for the right angles for shots. You have to take a quick glance and make a decision. Because sometimes you don't have enough space to get the ball across in time. And I just wanted to show you guys another example of how to finish. Maybe you take a bad first touch and it takes you into the path where you have to shoot it same side. You have to shoot it on the near post. That doesn't mean you should miss that opportunity. And I actually feel that this near post finish has kind of came into its own recently in terms of the success rate and the effectiveness. EA just dropped a patch last week, and I think they're trying to balance the game a little bit with finishing. It's still all about the overpowered joints, but I think that's what EA is trying to do. This next example, strong rush. My opponent, he brought out the keeper, and I'm a little flustered, but just tapping it home on the near post is much easier than you see what I'm saying, where I'm getting a little nervous and I'm rushing something, I'm trying to go across the body, I'm running out of space, and the keeper makes a save. The finesse shot can still be your friend, and you can still do it on the near post with a lot of success. I do not use the regular power shot as a near post finish very often this year. It just seems to get saved. You might be able to power it home if you really wanted to put all that oomph in there, and you're going to see something like that with the direct, but you're asking for a lot in a 1v1 situation where the goalkeeper's coming out to really, truly try to power that home, to test the keeper in that format. However, we are going to test him in these examples, but it's a little bit farther out. And it says, challenge on the strong side. And that's about knowing your players again. This is Ben Arfa, left-footed, left side. I don't necessarily need to go across the body. If I like my angle, I should be able to smash that because he's got that in his locker. And that's because I've used him in multiple games. I've played with this man. I'm experienced. Knowing your team is so crucial for success and the comfort level. The comfort level, if you want to be good in FUT Champs, if you want to win Division 1, That's often more important than actually how good you are as a player or how good your squad is. If you got no flow, you got no rhythm, you don't understand positions, you don't understand where you're at on the pitch, you're not able to make that mental note, it's not instinctive for you yet, you got some problems. Next example, we got Vidal. And these you have to have more power. About 40 to 65% power is what I've noticed seems to be successful. I wouldn't try shooting too many of these way outside the box, even though I just did drop a long shot tutorial. But Vidal's able to make it happen, captain. Make sure you got some high shot power. Guys that have over 80 for shot power, and also players that don't have necessarily a lot of curve or spin or finesse. Sometimes this is the better route. Just to say, okay, well, I'm going to challenge you. I want to see what you have. As we got Mr. Rui Costa, beautiful footwork there. Ooh, that was a dream. He can come to church with us on Christmas Eve. Maybe even go out to dinner. Believe! And Rui Costa, the legend. As you see, we're wiggling and working. I'm just hitting a rewind on this. I'm just challenging the keeper on the strong side. It's kind of like when you have a free kick and you shoot where the goalkeeper's at. You see it happen a lot in real life. If you're watching football, where it's almost the Didier Drogba, where I think, or even the Ibra, where he says, screw it, I'm coming right at you. I'm not going to mess about. I'm not going over the wall. And now we have the Incredible Hulk, relatively similar, and this is something you can build on. The Incredible Hulk deals with shooting across the body with power, which is where your long shots truly come from. If you're looking to get under the mistletoe, look no farther. This will help you get there. Another reference that didn't make sense. I might be going too hard on the Christmas theme. But keeping it simple. You've opened up your body here. You got the angle you need. The keeper's already shown you where you need to put it. Like, look where the keeper's positioned. You know where this has to go. And smash it. Just smash it. Another 40 to 65% power. Put it into the back corner. And you're going to be used to taking across the body shots if you've played a lot of FIFA 17. Even if you haven't. If you're just getting this for Christmas, well, embrace them. Because they're that important. When in doubt, always go across the body. And something that's lovely about the across the body that I mentioned previously, you don't have to be that accurate. This is where people mess up their finishes. They try to put everything in the top corner, in the upper 90, and they mess up by overcompensating, by over-aiming, by overthinking. It's not that complicated. You gotta keep it simple. You can put it next to the goalkeeper if it's hit with enough oomph, right? Enough oomph. You gotta say it like that. As you mean it, Gareth Bale, it's another player that I know his tendencies. I know what he can do. He's left-footed. I got him on that cross-the-body angle, and we're going to make this happen. I believe in all this goodness coming together and Mike scoring a bunch of goals. Because that's what it's all about. And the last examples that I really want to cover in this video, I want to talk about the chip. And I've made a whole video dedicated to the chip. If you have no idea how to score chips, that's okay. We can work that out. I've made a video. I'll put that down below as well. I called it the burnt chip, a little play on words there. Another YouTuber, great content creator. Much different than the tutorials that you're watching here. But you get a break, and you just got so much space in behind. The keeper's coming out. You see that he's coming out. And you're going to dink it over him. And don't rush. Be composed. And there's so much space in behind that you can make this work every time. You're ordering Chinese takeout and you're taking it to the crib and you're unloading and you're eating. And anyways, the idea is that you understand the circumstance. This is the right place to use the chip every time. And it's important not to lean too far forward. And I've also stated, and you're going to see the next example, but it's good to be able to use the chip diagonally. It gives you a larger margin for error. And the keeper just doesn't get to it. If you shoot a chip straight, there's always a chance the keeper does one of those whoo, and he grabs it. Ready? Whoo, and he grabs it. We've all seen that happen. It doesn't make you look like a professional player. You look disappointed. You're happy. No, you're not. You're unhappy. You blew an opportunity. You tried to go cheeky and it didn't work out. So if you can aim diagonally while doing the chip, and often that's just about placing your player at a diagonal angle. Not complicated. And I have the full tutorial, so I'll drop that. Remember, this video is more about kind of showing you different circumstances and what you're looking for. And when you see that, let's go! When you see that, yes sir! But if you enjoy it, drop a thumbs up. Happy holidays. I might do a bunch of videos in the Santa outfit. I gotta get my money's worth from last year. I want to do some footy content too. If you got any football suggestions, if you've made it to this point in the video, I'm expecting some comments, my friends. Peace.